start again. It's a rich thing.
What's up, y'all? It is Tasha. I am back with another video. Thank you so much for stopping into my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button below. If you are not, y'all know how we get down. Drop down in the comment section below so we can talk about the episode this week. We are back for another review of Put a Ring on It, season 4, episode 7. So let's just jump right into it, y'all, because we had a lot of moving parts in this episode. So this episode picks back up where Dr. Stacy is asking Ricky to express some more of his feelings regarding Catherine and Marcus's date. He says he was concerned that another male was giving her that type of attention, but he's also trying to learn. I was like, what, Ricky? He just be talking, but what he's saying really don't be making sense as some of the other men do as well. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. So Dr. Stacy says she just wants him to outwardly express what he is feeling on the inside, so that Catherine is aware. When asked for about a third date with Marcus, Catherine says yes, he will get a third date. She did not hesitate at all, honey. But she says, you know, she wants to see if they have the continued chemistry outside of just the looks. Ricky declines another date with Sheila because he thinks he's learned everything that he needs to learn from her, and now it's kind of giving some friendship vibes. I don't know about that, Ricky. I think you was getting a little nervous that if you went on a fourth date, it was going to be looking real suspicious, okay? So back over to Jaisha and Joya. He says that Brittany was a little bit flirty. And he said he didn't even notice a little twerk that she did when he had his hand on her thigh and Joya and her date walked in. I was like, sure you didn't, Jaisha. Sure you didn't. When asked if he wanted a third date with Brittany, Jaisha declined. He said it really seemed like she was putting on. Seemed like she was really trying to put up, be competition for Joya. And he just didn't like that. And I'm like, we all saw that on the first date. Why you didn't see that or why you thought you needed a second date to see that, we don't know, sir. But okay. We talk about Joya's date with Jacoby. She says his level of maturity is not there. He doesn't want to date women with children. So needless to say, no third date for him. He shouldn't even got a second date. So over to Zay and Jasmine. Zay tells the group about his date and how he told his date that, you know, she was pretty too. And Jasmine was like, that just killed me. And I'm like, Jasmine, are you that insecure that your man can't acknowledge another pretty woman, child? Like, girl, it ain't that serious. He's not blind. He's always going to see other women and see somebody that is attractive. Even if y'all are 75 years old, he should be able to say another woman is pretty. Like, okay, girl. She says that Zay sometimes make her feel like he is missing on something by being with her and that he really wants to be in the place that he's currently in his life, but single. He says he doesn't like her feeling that way. And I'm like, sure you don't, but I believe her feeling is spot on. Okay. Zay says that Sean will not be getting a second date from her because she said, you know, he's smart and everything, but she need a little streets with her smart. Girl, how about you try something different and see if you get different results, okay? Maybe do that, all right? But Zay also declines the second date and says they just didn't connect. And I said, well, Zay, you were really focused on Jasmine during your date, so did you really even find out anything about your date? But either way, neither one of them going on second dates. So the dates for this week are Joya will go out with someone new, Jaisha will self-reflect, Jasmine will self-reflect, and Zay will go on a new date. And both Ricky and Catherine, they will go on a date, but the date this week is going to be with Dr. Stacy so she can have one-on-ones with them is what they said. But then I thought she was going to talk to them individually, but then she just talked to them as a couple. So this week we will focus on the family dynamics, and they will meet with some family members that are close to them and see how really that relationship relates to them being in a relationship with their partner. So Jaisha and Joya, they're on the ride home and they start talking about Zay and Jasmine and how, you know, about that they had the one drink boundary. He said he had two. She starts realizing maybe I should have had some boundaries because, you know, Jaisha's hands being on Brittany's thighs just felt like, you know, was doing the most, and she just did not like that. And Joya gets really upset in the car thinking that Jaisha is like, oh, you on a date trying to be like her personal trainer and you was just basically too physical with her. And I think Joya is just showing out because she had a horrible date. If she had a great date, she would not have been so focused on what it is that Jaisha was over there doing. But girl, if this was such a huge issue for you to cause this fight in the car, why didn't you talk about this during the group session with Dr. Stacy? Is you putting on for TV, Joya? I'm starting to give you the side eye. So back at Zay and Jasmine's house, her mom and her brother come over and she's bringing them up to speed on the process. She tells them that they are seeing a relationship therapist, and her mom says, good, because y'all need it. No filter, mama, okay? Her mom says that, you know, Zay is really out there and really outgoing. Jasmine, she can hang with her friends, but if Zay is in the room, her focus is lasered in on Zay to kind of see what he is doing and watching him. Her mom tells her that she is very controlling. She low-key tries to control the entire family. And Jasmine says she comes from a family full of controlling women, and she doesn't think her mom is right on that. But I said, girl, didn't you say yourself that you was controlling, ma'am? Make it make sense, okay? She says she is really tired of being played with like a toy because the whole promise ring was basically a joke. Her mom tells her that it may have been little to her, but a big deal to him. Mama, I'm going to want you to want better for your daughter, okay? At a certain age, this promise ring can kick dust. And at a certain age, anything over 18, maybe 21, we can kick rocks with a promise ring, okay? We can just date until we ready for the engagement ring if it comes to that, okay? So I was like, what kind of advice is this you giving her? If that's all he got to give, then maybe he ain't the man for me, okay? Her mom tells her that she is valuable, so of course if Zay lose her, that would be a big deal, but maybe Zay just needs a little more time. We ain't getting any younger. If he needs more time, he can find it elsewhere, okay? So Catherine then meets with her father and grandmother. She tells us that she really didn't have a relationship with her father until she was 14. Her dad asks what made her do this, and she says that basically a part of her commitment with moving to Atlanta was for her and Ricky to then take steps forward in their relationship. Catherine says that her relationship with her dad really affects her relationship with Ricky because it really hurts that she was never really treated like a child. So with her experiencing that as a child, it's really hard for her to ask for things as an adult. So her daddy issues rolls into having trust issues with Ricky. Sorry if y'all hear the dog. Catherine says that her mom can really be inappropriate, and, you know, she felt like she never really grasped the whole concept of motherhood, so it puts a strain on their relationship. Her grandmother tells her that she really cannot harbor that kind of stuff of, you know, how her mom raising her, how her dad wasn't there. And her dad tells her that, you know, she really has to deal with that internally because if not, she will put it off on Ricky. Catherine, maybe you should be single right now. Maybe being in a relationship right now just ain't for you, and you need to do some of that healing from your childhood that you're talking about getting all teary-eyed over. Just the thought, okay? So over at Ricky and Catherine's house, she's reading the scripture on patience as they are waiting for Dr. Stacy to come for their meeting. Catherine says she is nervous for the meeting, and Dr. Stacy says she just really wants them to work through some stuff because after seeing the blow up that Catherine had with Ricky, that kind of prompted her visit when they got into it because Ricky said he doesn't really have a chance to miss her. Dr. Stacy says that, you know, Catherine turned into Smokey and tells Catherine that your smoke on Ricky is really strong. And Catherine says that's a part of her personality that is a learned behavior from her mom. So when she feels like, basically when she feels like she is not being heard or being seen, this alter ego, Smokey, is here to protect her, and that's who kind of comes out. Ricky says that he can sometimes get loud as well, and that can be a trigger for Catherine. They talk about an argument that they had, and Catherine had asked Ricky to like table it because this wasn't really a good place for them. Ricky kept pushing it, and she knew it wasn't going in the right direction. So Dr. Stacy kind of talks about one person not being in a good headspace and wanting to just kind of pause something and come back to it really should be something that he's okay with. Ricky says that when she wants to table things, it's like she just doesn't want to talk about it anymore, and he still has some things to say. So Dr. Stacy recommends that he maybe try writing things down, and then that can either be his release, or once he's written them down, then he can read them to Catherine and they can work things out that way when they're in a better headspace. Catherine starts to cry and says that Ricky is her best friend and she really hates it when they argue. But Ricky says that he feels like her anger will always be there, which gives him pause about moving forward in the relationship. And I'm like, Everybody has some anger in them. So Ricky, that's not an excuse. And you saying she's your best friend, that is accurate. And that is all she is a friend, in my opinion. So next up is Joya. She's on her date with Luther, and he says that he sees relationships as a lifetime goal, and he could be a little bit picky, which is why he is still single. He asks about her relationship with Jaysha, and basically, you know, her wanting marriage and kids, and, you know, him not being there quite yet. Luther's a little bit cute. Joya say he's a little bit cute too. They end up ordering the same thing. They talk about their favorite vacation spots, zodiac signs. She finds out he is a Scorpio. Y'all know what they say about Scorpios. So she wants to know if he's very sexual, because, you know, that's what she's always heard. He says he's definitely a pleaser, but he resists the urge because the experience that he provides can make someone attached. I said, well, okay then, Luther. Speak your speech, okay? Joya asks what he says to keep him grounded, and he says that he likes to paint, and he actually just recently painted a flamingo, and she ends up saying that is her favorite bird. And I say, you got a favorite bird and you out here painting flamingos? Maybe y'all are meant for each other. I don't know. But she says the date was good. They had good chemistry and good energy. So we moving on from there. The only thing I want Joy to keep in mind is this whole sex conversation. It went on a little bit longer than I probably thought it needed to on a first date. But when you go back, because you like to give play-by-plays to Jaysha on these dates, when you go back, make sure to tell him that you was driving the conversation and your date was being real respectful about it. Make sure you tell him that part, okay? So we see that Zay is going on a new date with Kenyatta, who is a flight attendant born and raised in the Atlanta area. So she says, when she says she's a flight attendant, he said, oh, so you travel. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Yes, she travels. She's a flight attendant, okay? Grow up. He says that her being a flight attendant made him more interested because he wants to be a pilot. Child, when he said that, I said, Zay, if you don't get off my TV, you can't even focus on the communication with your partner. You think somebody's going to trust you to be in the friendly skies with all these buttons and switches and no street signs up in the sky, driving a plane? Or if you do, go over there and drive for Spirit or Frontier somewhere, I don't fly, because I ain't trying to have you as being my pilot, okay? He tells her that he believes in his past life he was white because the things that he likes is not what the average black guy likes. So bungee jumping, skateboarding, country music, rock music, that's what he is into. And most black people, especially black men, are not into that. But he says that she gave him a lot to think about and gave him something that he hasn't gotten from all his other dates. I guess that she's a flight attendant. I don't know, child. So back at Joya and Jaysha's house, Joya's sister comes over to talk. Her name is Taffy. She tells Taffy about what's been going on. And all I can focus on is this thing in the middle of Taffy's head. Is it a jewel? Is it a piercing? What is happening here? Because it was hard for me to keep my attention on what she was actually saying. Anyway, Joya tells her sister that, you know, Jaysha still may be about 3 or 4 years out from marriage and the kids that she wants. She tells her sister that her date the previous day had just as much good qualities as Jaysha, and it was really good to see that another man could have those same good qualities. Her sister says, just go with the flow. And I'm like, well, what is with the advice these family members are giving? Just go with the flow? No, at almost 40 years old, if I want another child and I want to get married, I cannot just go with the flow on whatever this man wants to do for the next several years, honey. Like, I don't even understand what is happening. Don't waste your time if this man ain't giving you what you want. Anyway, when we go back to the couple session, they are all discussing their week with the dates and the family meetings that they have had. Jasmine goes first and talks about the conversation with her mom and her brother and says that her mom thinks that Zay can really do no wrong. And Zay says that, you know, she isn't the problem, that I am the problem, which is big of you. And we knew that. But what you gonna do about it? Okay? Zay talks about his date and said that his date taught him to be stronger and stronger with his communication. How, Sway? How? Y'all, Zay just be saying stuff. He be trying to say stuff that makes sense, but it don't make sense. And I don't understand why nobody else is catching on to this. I really don't get it. Jasmine says that she gets nervous because she knows really how much he is into this whole pilot thing. And she was all the way down the block and around the corner about they would have to date for like a year before maybe he can get into, you know, him being in pilot school, whatever it is. I was like, off of one date, you are down the block and around the corner. Jasmine, I'm going to need you to get some self-esteem, some self-confidence about yourself and stop overthinking everything and stop wanting to control everything that you say you do. You need to work on that, okay? She keeps talking about her being controlling and how she wants to work on it, but I don't understand what you're doing besides just keep saying that you're controlling. Anyway, Zay agrees to a second date with flight attendant girl, okay? So Catherine and Ricky. Catherine talks about the meeting with her dad and grandmother and how the things she is trying to unpack is because of the relationship with her dad. Catherine starts to cry and says she really wants to grow, but it's hard for me to focus because, child, this wig that Catherine has on, the wig is not laid. And I'm tired of seeing Catherine's hair not laid to the gods when she does hair. Ma'am, this is not good advertisement for your business. I need you to do better. These cameras are HD quality. They catching everything, okay? The wig has to be laid, all right? Anyway, Joya talks about the meeting with her sister and how her sister asks her how she knew that she's now ready for marriage and kids. And she says, I've never wanted to marry anyone. I've never talked about marriage and having another baby until she met Jaisha. So she really knows it is real. She talks about how her and her date had a lot in common. They ordered the same food, ordered the same drinks, talk about the flamingo. Jaisha then starts making little comments and joking around with it. Dr. Stacy says that, you know, this is the only real reaction she's ever seen from Jaisha, and he's deflecting. And I said, he definitely is deflecting. Mr. Play It Cool is starting to feel a little bit bothered about Joya talking about this man on his date. When they ask Joya if she's going to go on a second date, dun dun dun, the episode goes off for this week. So let me know y'all thoughts on this episode below. How y'all feeling about Jaisha and Joya? At first, I thought Jaisha was like this real like manly man, could just real confident, you know, just could take things like the water flowing off of his back. Like, but the more I see him, I feel like it's a whole facade that he's putting on to try to continue to act like absolutely nothing bothers him, while he maybe bottles up all of this stuff in the inside. Child, I don't know, but I know I thought that him and Joya probably should be the only one getting married at the end of this. I don't think none of these people should be getting engaged. Absolutely none of them. Anyway, let me know y'all thoughts on the episode in the comment section below. We will chat it up there. Until then, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.